On this 2010 to 2015 Honda Civic with the 1.8-liter engine and automatic transmission, P0741 means the PCM may be seeing the torque converter clutch circuit not performing correctly, often like the clutch is stuck off. The driver may notice the engine speed staying a little higher at cruise, the converter not locking up the way it should, or just a check engine light. Broadly, the possible fault areas can include ATF level or condition, leaks, solenoid operation, the torque converter clutch hydraulic circuit, lock-up control in the valve body, the torque converter, or an internal transmission problem. We'll keep the diagnosis in order and separate the actual fault testing from the final verification. Before getting into the checks, record the freeze data and any onboard snapshot with the HDS. That gives you the conditions the PCM saw when P0741 set, and it matters here because this code has to be duplicated under the right operating conditions. First, get the engine up to normal operating temperature, where the radiator fan comes on. Confirm the transmission is filled to the proper level and look for fluid leaks. Then drain the ATF through a strainer and inspect what comes out. If the strainer has metal debris or excessive clutch material, the diagnostic path calls for transmission replacement, followed by repair verification. If the strainer does not have metal debris or excessive clutch material, replace the ATF and continue to the next check. Next, turn the ignition switch to on, clear the DTC with the HDS, and use the miscellaneous test menu to operate shift solenoid valve D. You're listening for the solenoid to click. If it clicks, shift solenoid valve D is considered okay and you move on. If it does not click, the procedure calls for replacing shift solenoid valve D, then verifying the repair. Now run the engine until the ECT sensor temperature reaches 176 degrees F, 80 degrees C. With the HDS, select clutch pressure control, linear solenoid valve A, and test a /T clutch pressure control solenoid valve A. If the HDS indicates normal, continue to the road test for problem verification. If the HDS does not indicate normal, follow the results shown by the HDS. If that test result leads to a part being replaced, verify the repair afterward. For the problem verification, warm the engine again to normal operating temperature, where the radiator fan comes on. Test drive on a level road with steady throttle at 60 mph, 96 km/h, for at least 22 seconds, or drive for several minutes under the same conditions shown in the freeze data. Watch the OBD status for P0741 in the HDS DTC menu. If the HDS indicates failed, the failure is duplicated. At that point, the diagnostic path moves into the torque converter clutch hydraulic circuit, torque converter, valve body lockup control area, or transmission as the fault area to repair. Then you verify the repair. If the HDS does not indicate failed and shows passed, treat it as an intermittent failure and the system is okay at that time. If it shows not completed, run the drive condition again. Keep verification separate from the diagnostic checks. Turn the ignition switch to on, clear the DTC with the HDS, warm the engine to normal operating temperature, and repeat the same drive condition. Level road, steady throttle, 60 mph, 96 km/h, for at least 22 seconds or the same conditions captured in the freeze data. Monitor OBD status for P0741. If the HDS indicates passed, troubleshooting is complete, and if other pending or confirmed codes are present, check what they mean next. If the HDS indicates failed, go back to the solenoid D check and recheck the path. If it indicates not completed, meet the test condition and check OBD status again. The key on P0741 is not to jump straight to the converter. Check the ATF and debris first, prove the solenoids can operate, then duplicate the lockup failure under the required drive condition before deciding where the hydraulic or mechanical fault is. For more diagnostic training, visit stepdiagnostics.com.